So it's a little after 6 a.m. here in Phoenix. Your Ultimate Test Drive crew is hard at work. We're just pulling out of inland Kenworth in Tolleson, Arizona, and we're heading east towards a place called Jake's Corners. Anyway, just pulling out of the parking lot here at inland Kenworth, and gonna get this show on the road.
Equipment editor Jim Park with you. We're in Phoenix today driving Kenworth's flagship to be the W990. This video is all about the drive. We ran east out of Phoenix along State Highway 87 and turned around at Jake's Corner after grabbing some lunch there in this one-of-a-kind little beer joint called Jake's Corner Bar. Tacos and iced tea for the crew, mind you. We left the wobbly pop with the locals and the bikers. Highway 87 is 4-lane all the way with a few good grades and some very nice sweeping turns to steer through. We had some freeway time as well in and out of Phoenix, but spending 4 or 5 hours driving a truck like this on that spectacular highway was a real treat for your all-too-often desk-bound editor. The thing about the W990 that you can't help but notice is the long, wide hood. It's considerably wider at the cab than the W900's hood because of the new cab Kenworth's now using. It literally fills the bottom of the windshield. But despite that big hood, I didn't find the visibility compromised, and honestly, it looks pretty cool from the driver's seat. During a hard pull with the engine working, I got a reading of 73 dB on my sound meter. Cruising on flat ground with less engine noise, we got a reading of 70. And for comparative purposes, my Volkswagen Jetta cruises on flat ground at 67 dB. It's quite something when you can compare a big highway truck to a small sedan. After lunch, we headed back towards Phoenix and gave the MX-13 engine a spin on the hills.
Now we're at the bottom. We're going to start working our way up a little bit here. May have to give up a gear just at 60 miles an hour. And we're going to start climbing this 6% grade up the other side. It's probably about 3 or 4 miles as well, I think. Again, with 510 horse, 1850 pound-feet, and an empty or lightly loaded trailer, we're certainly not taxing the engine at all. It's certainly well within the realm of possibility to make it up here without doing a downshift. So I'm making my way down to this long 6% grade here. It's about 4 miles. Again, we're lightly loaded, if anything. The engine brake in the number 2 position is doing a great job of keeping me here at 55. The steering on this, these corners are a little bit tight. Speed limit's 55, so I don't want to get too carried away, but the steering is really positive going through these turns here. Never had any issue with the lane departure warning coming on, meaning I'm crossing over into the next lane. And all these corners are a little tight. At 55, they're okay, but the steering wheel feels fantastic on this thing. Just the way it holds the road, that shepherd steering here, that makes all the difference, I think. But it really, really, really feels good. It's great looking out over that great big hood too. The W900 has got a much narrower hood, so you got a slightly different field of view. This thing is just large. It fills a good chunk of the window.
In the previous 2 videos in this Ultimate Test Drive series, we did a walk around of the exterior features of the truck and we did a cab and sleeper tour. When you roll all those features together and wrap them up in a W990 chassis, you get a truck that's a real joy to drive. It's solid and sure-footed on the interstate highways, and it's nimble enough to navigate some pretty tight little parking challenges. The visibility is fantastic and it's very quiet inside. With a 130-inch bumper-to-back cab measurement, the W900's a big truck and there's a lot to like here. Even after a full day's driving, I was sorry to have to give it back. In Phoenix, Arizona, for the Ultimate Test Drive, I'm equipment editor Jim Park. Drive safe and keep your revs down.